Okay, getting right into it before fully live. Okay. I'm going to try and play a little bit more this stream because we do need to get past these. Hey, Black Hole. Afternoon. You okay? Yeah. That's fair. Probably going to have a few of those today. But let's get through them. The Lumitrix profile picture is very cool. Alright. That's a big one. No thank you. No thank you. Yeah, it's a pretty optimized deck. Alright, we're fighting uphill a little bit here. Let's see. Yeah, I hear you, Black Hole. We'll probably have that discussion again at some point today. I'm not going to start it. Pretty important. I would like a better Zola counter, keeping an eye on that. I'll take that. And then they have options, but... Okay, this draft has gone okay. Hey, Beatles Champ. Yeah, we don't really have a domino counter, do we? Nice, Black Hole. Good luck. Part of me wonders if I should have done that with Dust. We'll see. Okay. Good first round and dominoes off the board. I feel pretty decent about this going forward. Let's see. Hey, Odie, how's it going, man? Hey, Shaz. Well, this meta specifically leans into the things that make Lumitrix more dangerous, right? Like a 3 feeling like a 4 with nodes that support them is very much intended. We're definitely on the back foot for this one. Yeah, fully expected that. I could have played that a little cleaner, but like our odds were terrible there. But then we're putting dust on defense and we have a chance. Hey, Stat, how's it going? Nice. I hate how slow he is there. Alright, come on. Heck yeah. Okay. That was a tough one. Thanks, Misery. Glad you're enjoying them. Jesus, Nartic. Huge congrats. My luck has not looked like that. I won't hide it. Y'all can do the math if you want. I'm not going to tell you the $sign, but I do not have a 7-star Nico, but I opened enough crystals that 9,000 units there will get me to pity when she comes back for units. I think that's what we call come hell or high water. Yeah, no, that's awesome. All right. Okay, this one will probably be quick. I'm glad. Because the usual disclaimer, I am very skeptical of rotations because I think people get way too rigid about them. Like I've seen so many comments along the lines of like, but you can't do their rotation in this fight, so they're a bad option. And it's like, if you could just be the slightest bit flexible. Ugh. But yeah, not throwing that at you. Basically, I'm just saying that I'm kind of having to get over my own biases to offer those. They are good starting points. I'm just going to underline the starting part of it a million times. Nice, warrior. Yeah, I like blue marble quite a bit. Yeah, I wouldn't complain either, black hole. That's pretty cool. Okay. I think we want Shocker. I actually don't know what you're talking about, Odie. Oh, wait, sorry, this is sports, right? That's what you mean by electricity? I was going somewhere else for a minute. But no, what was I doing last night? I was playing video games with my wife. No regrets. Awesome, Arctic. I am glad it helped. Come on, buddy. I was hoping that would get us to a special too. That's my fault. There we go. Okay. I have not done that fight enough times to be comfortable with it. Like, that was obviously fine, but it wasn't great. Need to keep cleaning that. That was a decent run. You're a massive hockey fan. Watch every minute going forward. I do want to. I do want to get more comfortable watching hockey. Like, it's not that it bothers me. I just don't know the sport well enough to really enjoy it. Thanks, Kurt. Congrats on the polls. Video games do I play with my wife? Generally more casual ones. Last night we played Hex Guardians, which is like a very cute art style tower defense. So like it's on a hex grid, right? Kind of like Civilization or whatever, but each day that you defend your little tower or your castle, you get the choice to like place these hexes down in extra places. I think I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit. And so you can kind of shape the terrain a little bit to your own liking, and that lets you do some cool things. It was fun. It was the first time either of us had played it. Classic tiger fight. Love those long combos. All right. Yeah, it's funny I've had two in a row like that, right? Black hole, because Gene just missed the last Titan, and Nico's just missing this one. And that somebody always has to, right? That's how rotations work. But has been kind of unfortunate. Yeah, I think that makes sense, Narctic. I have a Mystic Gem myself with her name on it. What I think is the best photon counter? That depends on the context. In a complete vacuum, assuming that the player is comfortable with them, it's Mantis. Things can change quite a bit from there. Crossbones is way, way up there with her. I do give the edge to Mantis, but it kind of depends on, the kind of fight you're looking at. There are places where Crossbones pulls ahead. And then if you can't stop her from ramping, right? Like if it's on force of will, then I do give it to Patriot. But then there are some other things that can slow that down too, right? So it depends on the context. As do most things. Nice, Black Hole. Yeah, my wife and I did play a bit of Baldur's Gate 3 together. Okay. Never mind. That's fine. Nova on the intercept node, you just want somebody who can control his buffs, as. Um, so like Hood would be great. Anyone who can reliably keep those Furies off, then you can intercept him freely. I'm not touching that, Jay. You know better. Hey, Jaeger, it's been fine. I mean, I've played War in this meta, so there's some matchups that I recognize. The Conflictor and Phantom Pain is definitely adding something to it, but yeah, I don't mind it. Since Luke, Luke was a while ago. I think Luke was like the 5th project I was on, and Nico's my 12th. So that's a long line. Okay, don't really need to worry about bands here. Sorry, friend. I'm forgetful. Okay, so let's see. In order, Absorbing Man, Kate, Photon, Kushala, Serpent, and Luke were the same month. So you can count Luke as either my 5th or my 6th. It depends. And then Patriot, Deathless She-Hulk, Black Panther Civil War, Deathless Thanos. That's 10, and then Jean and Nico. Yep. Yeah, no, I don't mind when people lose track. That was just a big spread, and I was amused. Out of those Panaz, I think Kushala would probably be the best because she's the one that A has the AI manipulation for better intercepts, and B has better odds of removing all buffs off the opponent and then giving herself some time. Thanks, Misery. I agree, Mental. I've been convinced for a while that when Patriots buff goes live, there are absolutely going to be some people who are going to say, "That's it." But he's trash. Trash needs massive buffs. And they're going to be wrong. And we're going to move on. Nice, Sharon. Hope you enjoy Thanos. So when am I going to build a meta-relevant champ? Hi, Dilly. Yeah, no, the new Titan badge is very good. Keep the list going just for funsies. Nice try. I updated the next champion widget, and that's what you're getting. Rank 4 Shuri and no one else. That's a fan. Nice, Nartic. Patriot is the only one of mine that I'm missing, other than Nico. She doesn't really count at the moment. When I was going for Nico, I did pull Venom Pool, so I'm down to almost no one in the base pool that I'm missing except Patriot. I think it's like him, Venom the Duck, and maybe one other person. I think I'm missing Prowler too. So it's it is a painfully short list. How's it going, KT? Probably the biggest bandwave ever, yeah. I will say I'm not going to comment on any specifics on that, other than to say, if we do this again, we won't be doing it on a Friday. I've gotten so many messages. Would be nice to get a Havoc counter. That's a small Havoc. We can survive without one. But it would be nice. Yeah, it's been nice to see the love for Nico. Y'all haven't seen it as much, but there's also been, in the CCP, quite a bit of love for Carolina, which I'm really enjoying too. So look forward to those videos. There's my tease. Serpent works in a pinch. Definitely not what I would prefer to be using. Alright, let's have an Enchantress off. This isn't remotely fair. Hey, no complaints from me, Black Hole. Carolina's awesome. Why is Carolina so bright? I mean, she's glowing, right? She's basically made of light. That's pretty accurate to the comics. I think we had to make some artistic choices with exactly how we were going to render her, but I don't know. I think it turned out pretty well. It's definitely grown on me a bit. Because she does look a bit different than most other champions, right? I didn't see that coming, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, the 6-star will do certain things, but as rank 4s are getting more common, I'm not investing in her either. This is maybe the first 6-star of my characters that I haven't invested in. I took Jean up even though I've barely used her. Yes. Yelena will be an auto ban next meta. Absolutely. Is she more light than Photon's pure light form? Yeah, I would say so. Like, they're different, right? Like, Photon, her other name is Spectrum, right? And so she's kind of more electromagnetic spectrum. You'll sometimes see some, like, non visible light waves, that kind of thing. And that's why she has the more, like, translucent blue thing going on. Whereas Carolina is very, like, solar, right? She's supposed to look more like starlight in the sense of a star at the center of a solar system. So very sun. And I think that difference makes sense. Okay, just double checking something. Um, I'll stop checking that eventually. Do game designers themselves choose who they will work on, or is it imposed on them? It's kind of a little bit of both. Um, cute Dilly. Like all of the character designers have a wish list of champions that they want, and then the designer that works with Marvel to like help determine who comes to the contest every year They will look at that and take it into account. But then the schedule is kind of made without input from the rest of us, and then from that we will see like what's coming. Like I know who's coming to the game almost for sure through next like April or something. And we've known who was locked in for all of this year for quite some time. And so you can plan ahead a little bit, and then based on that we'll have discussions about like who wants this one, who wants this one, who feels most strongly. And kind of go from there. Occasionally two designers will both really want something, and then you kind of have to have a talk. But I can't remember in the 3 years that I've worked for Kabam it ever really coming to hard feelings, right? Like it's normally obvious that somebody wants it more, and then that's generally who gets it, right? Because the other person will back off. Like we're it sounds kind of trite when I say it, but like we're good colleagues like that. I actually don't know Marvel's exact cut of the revenue, nor do I know your definition of big or small. I know they get a cut, but yeah, I'm not familiar with exactly what it is. Um, Ease of use is kind of something that I feel like people bring their own assumptions to, so that's a tough question, Curd. But I do think she's kind of in the like 2.5, 3 range. Like you have to pay attention to something you otherwise don't have to pay attention to. And so that is inherently a challenge, right? But it's not that bad. Like we've already seen several people in the CCP who were worried about it, try it out and go, "Oh, okay. Yeah. That works." And I think that will generally be the interaction more broadly. All right, this might be a bad idea, but I don't really love any of my options. I could use Luke, but then we would have to do this against Chavez. So, trying some stuff. And maybe I don't really need that because we have Serpent, and so they'd be saving Chavez for that. And then I should have used Luke, but it's too late for that. Hey, man, how's it going? Oh, that was way too late. My bad. Oh, we lost some stupid health at the end there. And they got kind of lucky with the evade counters. I knew there was a chance of that, but that's annoying. Silk is so dumb. I don't love doing this because it does open me up a little bit next round, but do what I can. We kind of needed to win that first one. Not the best Luke fight. Biscuit. Hmm. I'm definitely worried about round 3. I am not answering any variation of the Claire question. Hi, AJ. But just, y'all, stop digging. You're allowed to not like Silk, Luffy. If you think she's not actually that good, you're just wrong. Yeah, it's not the best. Oh, that sucks. I didn't realize that it was coming off cooldown. Alright. Well, we probably weren't going to win. We're definitely not going to win now. That's fine. You! Oh, you jerk. And that's why you don't give up. Of the champions that were already released or announced so far this year, is there one that I was most excited to learn of becoming? Nico. Nico was on my wish list. I was pretty excited about my November champion too, and we'll talk about that when we get closer. But yeah, Nico was definitely the champ out of this whole year that mattered most to me. Yeah, Nico and Carolina have been known for a while and have been claimed by Honeydew and I for so long that we didn't even have a discussion about who was doing them. They were just, y'all are open in those months, here you go. Like, we've been planning this for so long that y'all know when Chapel Roan blew up last year, right? Before she blew up, like when she was still relatively unknown, Na turned me on to her and sent me some of her stuff, encouraged I listened to her, and I sent a song to Honeydew for Carolina's playlist as a possible suggestion before Honeydew had heard the song. Like, it's... We've been on this for a while. Yeah, that was Gene and Bastion, what y'all are talking about. Hey, Aiden, how's it going? Sentiment and feedback on War so far? As expected, plenty in Tier 1 aren't a fan, but plenty are. And I've seen quite a bit in Tier 1 of, I'm actually having fun. I would get bored if this were every season, but I want to see it again, and this has been a nice break. Lower than that, it has been almost universally positive from what I've anecdotally seen. Like, we'll see what the numbers are on the engagement side and all of that, because that was the point of running the experiment so widely. But, like, my alt account and a number of other smaller accounts that I know, people are just adoring it. They're like, oh, I can play War and feel like I have some idea what's going on. And that's been cool to watch, honestly. I don't have data on if Special 3 animation times have gone down, but it's not something we've talked about explicitly, no. Because generally it's just accepted that if your Special 3 is a required part of your loop, then you're probably not building a Battlegrounds champion unless it's close to an auto kill like Titania's can be. That's just something we know. Huge congrats, Jency. I've been really happy to hear how many people are enjoying the gameplay specifically for Nico, because we spent a lot of time polishing that, right? Like, we knew that Adrenaline was new enough and weird enough and close enough to iHulk, which a lot of people didn't like, that, yeah, we were being careful. I'm glad. That's weird. Thank you so much for gifting a membership, Lee. I appreciate you. On the subject of memberships, this is not a wider pitch, but for those of you who are curious and have been thinking about it, while we're on the subject of Nico as well, I did record a design log kind of talking about how she changed over development and like the specific challenges that she brought and how we tackled them. I haven't edited it yet, but that will be going out as a members only video sometime in the next, I'm going to say 24 hours. I'm going to commit to that. I think I just answered that, AJ. Yeah, we're pretty far in the future. We have a sketch for all of 2026. It's just not necessarily set in stone yet. Oh, there are definitely loud pockets of them, man. Yes, I'm aware she is. I'm glad, Darkness. Thanks, Narkin. Yeah, technically Spot has a debuff immunity debuff, but that's like a protective one rather than a disruptive one, so not quite the same. I have no idea, Pablo, but probably pretty rare. Hey, Walrus, thank you. I am, and I hope you are as well. Honestly, I had kind of a rough morning. It's not like the end of the world kind of thing, but 1 second. Yeah, that's fine. This weekend, for those of you who know, is the pre-release for the next Magic the Gathering set, the one based on Final Fantasy. I was planning to go, but I did not realize that at the store I go to that I needed to buy ahead, because the last few sets, I'm pretty sure I haven't. I've just shown up and it's been fine. This time it wasn't, and so I will be making a point to do that ahead of time going forward, because that was a rather depressing waste of gas. But it's gotten better from there. Yes, Nico is mine. Thank you, Walrus. We've talked about the potions thing again recently, Hanach, but that's all I feel comfortable saying. Um, it is a known point of tension. I do agree with you. We are definitely stretching the rank fours. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it as a draft format. I was hoping to play it as sealed, but c'est la vie. Not. I don't know about any specific cards, Kurt, because I'm not really much of a constructed player. I tend to just play limited, specifically draft. But I'm looking forward to the saga creatures. I think that'll be cool. I really enjoyed Kamigawa Neon Dynasty back when that came out, which is kind of the different flip on saga creatures, right? And looking forward to these as well. I've said a few times, Paul Rose, I'm not answering any variation of that question. Was it a worry at any point that Nico is taking up too much design space? Yes, absolutely. That was a lot of what we talked about. Um, and that is something that I'm specifically touching on in the members only video on her. Now I think that one counts as a plug. But yeah, it's just basically that's something that I think we walked the line well, but we knew we were walking it, and that happens a certain number of times a year, right? It just does. And one of the ways in which I feel I have grown as a designer is becoming a bit more comfortable with that because it you do have to, like, I've known intellectually for a long time, you do have to walk that line and kind of do things you're a little uncomfortable with from time to time to keep a game exciting. I do know that. I think I've gotten better at accepting that and actually going through with it. I do want to immediately say that the community's definition of how often we should be doing that is probably not a very good one, but it is something that we're aware of, and yeah, we play with on purpose. What's the time horizon for when you're finished working on a champion I'm designing and their actual in-game release? Roughly 2 months. Like, basically, Jean came out, people liked her, we got into and that was about when I was finishing up Nico. Like, I think I had probably declared her kit locked and passed her to balance just after Jean released. I would have to check exact dates. But then I was basically doing like bug fixing for a few weeks after that. And so by the time the April Champions came out, she was done. And at that point, I was like, I want to talk to everyone about Nico, but I can't. I have 2 more months because we have 4 other champions to talk about first. And I can't steal their thunder. But that is the hardest part of every process for me, is being really, really excited about the work I just finished and having to shut the heck up about it for 2 months. Create your own Titan pool. Ha. I don't think so. I seriously may end up doing arena streams this month because there is no way in heck I am missing out on that profile pic. Alright. Whoops, not that. Yeah, I'm basically not. I mean, I didn't go in expecting to hate it because I was there for playtesting, right, Aiden? So I already had some idea of what to expect. But, like, yes, I prefer the old map. If I was forced to pick between one forever, I would definitely pick the larger map. But I'm enjoying this season, and I would like to see it from time to time. I also think that below a certain tier, some iteration on this probably should be what war is, basically forever. Look, y'all, don't push me for leaks, but think for a second. If you were running this game, would you put the only 2 characters with offensive buff immunity in the same Titan pool? Is there any universe where that feels like a good idea? Don't know if you can answer this, but where in the design process is my November champion? Um, we've had one of the 2 animation reviews. I don't mind answering that. Like, that is how far ahead we are. So, like, we've done the brainstorming, the model is done, the animations have started, we've talked about what we're gonna do for the VFX. I have only the loosest ideas of what I'm going to do with the kit. And that's kind of how this goes, right? Like, we've done meta planning for them, so I have notes on like what RPG effects I'm anticipating they'll use, but all of the specifics are very much up in the air. Basically, the only things that are locked in are the things that I asked art for, and technically, even those aren't locked in. Because the art team has made very clear multiple times that if we have to throw away their work, they are adults and they can live with it. But I would feel bad, so I'm probably not going to do that. Nice, Pablo. That's cool. I I'm definitely in favor of a broader test map. Yes, Wheel of Fate will be permanent. Maybe Aiden, but at the same time, in a lot of circumstances, that's kind of necessary for a lot of people, right? Like, from the perspective of a hyper engaged tier 1 player, a day and a half feels like forever. But there are a lot of people who log in less than 7 times a week, and something like this is very helpful for them. So I don't know that we would condense it much more in high images. Not an official one, Ryan. I did rattle off the list earlier in the stream, and somebody, if anybody wants to type it out for you, fine with that. But no, we don't publish those things on purpose. There are elements of the community that would not be super chill. I don't think I have to explain that one much more. You're not fully wrong, Aiden, but I don't think there's any content that expects players to log in once a day that has radiance attached to it. But I feel about Destroyer a year later. I still like Destroyer. I think they've been an enduring defender. Um, I think they were a good expansion of design space, and I still think they feel amazing in any kind of story content. It's possible that their damage ceiling in shorter fights could have gone up, but the data said it didn't need to, and yeah, Destroyer accomplished its goals. I don't know. I understand that they're not getting used that much, but I think it was a successful design. There's a lot of really cool stuff in it. Yeah, you're right that AQ falls into that, but it's not 7 times a week. And you control which days it is, and I can't see a variation of war that's the same thing. I also, in my brain, I didn't include AQ because that's like AQ's whole thing, right? It is a repeatable, predictable quest. I don't see war being the same. Yeah, I don't think there's any chance we're ever doing that, Aiden. I think that would just be too emotionally exhausting. Like, that's another aspect that I don't think you're taking into account, is that because war is directly competitive in a way that AQ is not, there is an emotional component to it. And I think 6 wars in a week would just tire a lot of people out and cause burnout, even if the actual fighting wasn't that much. You'd also have a lot of planners who'd suddenly find it difficult to check in that often. Because, like, this model is easier on planners than the traditional one and requires less time, but it's still, like, 3 times a week that you have to think about. You have to think about the game in a different way. No, I'm saying for this new one, Aiden. The emotional component is still there for the new one. That assumes we ever do that, low-key. Personally, I'm not sure this model is even compatible with blacklists and whitelists. I don't see much of a need for it. Thanks, Alfie. No, Ryan, that's expired. Alright, we're through Diamond, we're in Vibranium. I think I'm probably going to call the stream there. I don't want to get too tired. But yeah, on the Titan discussion, I have 2 Nexuses there. And then I'm close to 10 over here. I don't know that I'm going to get over the line. Maybe. Oh, definitely. Anybody who bothers to listen to me talk on a regular basis, Kurt, is by definition more engaged than average. I am extremely aware of that. Yeah, Mookie's correct, too. The more ways you're competitive, that would be a lot of crash outs. Yeah, so let's take stock of the basic pool again. Yeah, so I'm missing... Yep, Prowler, Patriot. Oh no, I did pull Venom the Duck. When did that happen? I didn't even notice. I'm literally just missing Prowler and Patriot. That's so tilting. So tilting. Bishop was a late one for me. And iHulk. Thank you, Easy. I forgot he got added. Yes, Jean is my only champion in the new Titan. And I am definitely opening. I'm probably just opening all. Because if we take a look, the outgoing pool, which is what? Black Widow, Nefaria, Enchantress, Bill, Infamous Iron Man, and Shathra, if I'm remembering correctly. I have all of them. I don't have Bill or Idoom duped, and I wouldn't mind their dupes, but that's not a good enough reason for me to open it. But then out of the other pools, I don't have Jack, I don't have Hitmonkey. Scream and Spiral I do have. I don't have Okoye, I don't have Joaquin. I have Spidey Supreme. I think. I can't remember why or how. I don't have Zola. I do have Dazzler, but I don't have her dupe, and I don't have Gentle. And so, like, there are a lot of targets that I want in the existing Titan, just not in the 6 that are leaving in 3 days. And so odds are between the 12 that will still be there and the 6 new ones, I'm probably going to have enough. Like, I'm probably not going to be lucky enough that I get everything I want in 11 pulls, or even 12 if I get there. And then I'll have time to build back up before September. Hey, clubs. Yeah, I am planning on closing down here just because I've got some plans later today. But it was a good stream, and I will be editing that video soon. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, John. Like, of course, if I'm only missing 2, one of them is mine. Um, Chidera, I think, like, using a 7-star Awakening gem on, I'm assuming you mean OG Black Panther, is not a, like, objectively optimal use of a gem. No. But if the rest of your roster is fine and you really like Black Panther and you're not using him because he's not awakened, then, I don't know, knock yourself out. I think you have to take a longer view if you're going to ask questions like, does nobody care about Spider-Woman anymore? She's not in the Titan yet. Like, it sounds to me like you're basing that question on the fact that you don't hear people talking about her constantly, and that's because most people don't have her. Like, duh. Things will change in less than a week. Context. Yeah. My resources are going towards Nico, but Jean, if I get her, will immediately be second place priority. Anyway, thank y'all for hanging out. Good stream, good discussion, and I will talk to y'all soon. Take care, all.